Thank you.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. Host Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday evening. Great Wednesday evening. It hasn't been the best Wednesday today, but we are going to work through it. I refuse to call this a sickness. I refuse. But we won't press forward. Let me go ahead and welcome the family with me. Miss McCray is here. How you doing, Miss McCray?
Hey, everybody. I'm blessed. How are you, sir?
I've had better days, but we're going to work through it, Miss McCray.
Yes, we are.
And Mr. King's in the building as well. How you doing, Mr. King?
All right. I'm doing good. Blessed to be here.
Awesome. We look forward, man. We're going to pick up in a few minutes here. We're going to pick up on our discussion that we had last week. We were talking about why men don't commit. And Miss McCray, you weren't here, Miss McCray, but one of the running themes that kept happening, Miss McCray, is women not cooking. And not knowing how to cook. Being a part of the equation, Miss McCray. I'm sure, Miss, and I'll give you a second in a moment. I'll give you a chance to comment on that, because I know you, Miss McCray, you got something to say about that. We'll get there in a moment. But first, just a couple of real quick news stories. I like to always do that to start off the show that I noticed this week. One in particular, I was reading yesterday about the sanctions that the president had done. And I talk about this because one of the comments that I read just had me rolling when I read the comments. So I just had to mention it for that reason, mainly. But in the story, if you've been paying attention to the news, the president this week or last week issued some sanctions against some officials in Russia due to the crisis that is happening over in the Ukraine right now. Russia is doing their best to take over a part of the Ukraine called Crimea, and they're making some headway. So the president's going to have a decision to make soon here. But he issued some sanctions basically banning them from doing any business in the U.S. ultimately is what it boils down to. But what I found funny in listening to one of the officials who got sanctioned, he talked about, of course, as you can imagine, he talked about how he didn't care about the fact that he got sanctioned by the U.S. president. It didn't mean anything to him. But he talked about three people he said that as long as he had access to those people, he'd be okay. And what floored me was that one of those people were Tupac Shakur. So that's what floored me. Tupac Shakur made the quote in discussing as long as he had access. What he was talking about, again, he talked about the fact that he didn't care about the sanctions, but he talked about work, from people in the U.S. that he appreciated, and as long as he had access to their work, he'd be all right. And one of the people he named was Tupac Shakur. It's funny because they described this gentleman as the right-hand man of Putin, who is, of course, the president of Russia. And then they also described him as, apparently they call him the Gray Cardinal of the Kremlin. They called him the Gray Cardinal of the Kremlin. And in talking about works that he wanted to appreciate from America, Tupac Shakur was one of the names that he came across, and I just found that hilarious to me. This has to be, a man in his 40s, at least, maybe even 50s, and in talking about things that he cared about in the U.S., Tupac Shakur was at the top of that list, apparently. 16 years later, Tupac is still on the people's mind, Mr. King.
I'm not even going to comment. You already know that I know that it's a setup. That's why he going to bring up. He made it seem like it was just a complete joke. I don't care. Long as I got me some Pac, I go to Russia. Like, really? I don't know. I don't believe in any of that, man. Syria's next.
Syria is next?
Yes. cereal, and that's when it's going to get real. It's going to get real once they start going to cereal.
Oh, okay, brother. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things happening right now in Russia. I just hope America can stay out of the fray, is what I hope.
Has America ever done that?
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't send any troops, that's what I hope. You know, I think eventually he'll send. Well, we already promised them some money, so we're definitely sending money. And then I'm sure if it gets worse, which it seems like it is getting worse, eventually we're probably going to send over some weapons. I just don't want to see us send troops. That's the thing. You know, let's not send troops. As long as we don't do that, I'll be good. But we'll see what happens, man, with that. But yeah, I just thought that funny that a Russian official would talk about his love of Tupac.
That's what he has to
as
say.
he describes and talks about how he care less about these sanctions.
The Russian official now talking about listening to Tupac.
The Russian official is listening to Tupac. Something else, man. But, man, I'll move on, man. A couple other local stories here. UCF quarterback had his workout today. Blake Bortles had his workout today. From everything that I read online, man, seems like he did a really good job. So shout out to him. Hopefully he does well in the draft in a few weeks. Nice to see local, at least local school. I don't think he's from the area, but local school boy anyway. Do well in the draft. That'll be nice to see. He's got all the skills, 6'5", 232 pounds, I think I read. So he's got the build to be a NFL quarterback. But we'll see if he gets that shot. We'll see if he gets that shot. He certainly did well at UCF and brought them to some heights they haven't been to in a while. So we'll see. Hopefully UCF can continue that next year with him gone. I don't know who's the backup in for the Knights, but hopefully they'll be back in a bowl game and making some headlines and some news again. We'll see. You got any faith in the UCF Knights, Miss McCray? Think they can do it again?
We'll see. You know, with this new, the way the system is going to work next year or next football season, it's going to be interesting to see if they get a fair shake, if they get a chance. I believe in them. Go Knights.
Nope, y'all trick.
Go Knights.
Let's see what happens, man, to the UCF Knights.
Did you see the baseball game when they played Florida State?
No, I did not, sir.
Yeah, I heard it was very crowded at that game because, Jameis plays for Florida State, Jameis Winston.
Oh, he does play. He still plays on the baseball team?
He still plays on the baseball team. He was at UCF when they played Florida State. I'm not for sure because, they just played the Gators. I think it was this weekend. I'm not for sure. I think it was this weekend or earlier this week. I'm not for sure if he was at that game. But I know at UCF it was a packed house just to see him play. And it was a blowout. UCF kind of blew them out. I'm sorry, UCF got blown out, but Jameis was there. That's all we cared about.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a shame though they got blown out though.
I think it was like 11-1. It was like a score that was very odd, like a low scoring football game.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe better next time. Obviously, the baseball team has some work to do, I guess. Maybe, hopefully, the football team doesn't have the same problems. But we will see. Let's keep it moving here. We'll keep it moving, and we'll get on our topic here. So, as I said, opening the show, last week we were talking about why men don't commit, and we seem to get a lot of phone calls, like I said. And the running theme that kept coming up from the phone calls is the women not cooking anymore being at the top of the list is why men don't commit to them. Now, Miss McCray, you weren't here to comment last week. I'm sure you had a lot to say if you were. What's your comment on that, though, Miss McCray? 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Miss McCray, go ahead.
As I shake my head in disbelief that was the number one concern why men won't commit is as if we don't cook. Really?
I don't.
Is it that simple?
That wasn't the truth. That was Brother Real has it wrong. That just
break it down for me.
That just seemed to be the one thing that stood out because when you're talking to women and they're in a losing conversation, they just take one thing and they'll concentrate on that one thing because the rest of it is true, so we ain't gonna talk about that. So they was talking about, well, one person said cooking, and then everybody was just like cooking. And that's what happened. It wasn't focusing on, well, since y'all don't cook, we don't want no relationship.
So a woman called and said that she doesn't think men commit because women are no longer cooking?
It was multiple women that called. It was an older woman. She said that is the reason these young girls, she had an accent. It was so beautiful. She had a beautiful accent. She was saying that she cooks. Her grandkids, she's teaching her grandkids how to cook because these young girls don't be cooking, especially the Deltas.
You always got to throw that in there.
I got a comment that tells me men are the best cooks anyway. So it don't even matter.
Really, some of the top chefs in the world are men. So if you want to be for real, maybe the men should be cooking for the women.
There we go. See how that's how women are?
I'm just saying.
Why you can't do it for me? That's the first thing they be saying. Why you can't open the door?
Now
Why you can't cook?
Why
you can't rub my feet? Why you can't get a job? Why you can't carry the kids?
No, that's not true either, sir. Someone is writing, men are the breadwinners in the house. We know that's not true. As studies continue to show that more and more women are, especially women of color, are becoming more educated. Therefore, our earning potential will increase. And as that happens, the men seem to fall by the wayside with that. So let's not say that. Is he coming? Oh boy!
I think we got another guest. We have another guest.
Here we go.
We got another guest in the
go.
house. Chris from WOKB is joining us tonight.
Hi, Chris.
Chris, what's your comment, man?
Listen, I understand what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. But the mere fact is that a lot of women today are independent, and that's the problem. They don't know. Some women don't know how to submit. The Bible tells us, and when you go get married, it say submit unto your husband.
Right.
But therefore, men have to submit to the wives. But every man is not a breadwinner because some men are still children inside their head. I'm just telling the truth. But every woman is not a breadwinner herself.
That's true.
Just because she go out and get a job and she making more of an income, don't mean she know how to manage money right.
This is true.
So you gotta go. It go both ways.
Thank you. I thought you was gonna come in here with some foolishness.
No, I ain't gonna go there just yet.
It's about a partnership, really. And,
it is.
I mean, on both sides of that, and understanding that for a man, it's when you say provider. I think the generations after us, they need to understand that it's not just, and maybe before, it's not just financial.
No.
Providing financially. You need to provide as a protector, as emotional, thinking of the finances of the house.
I ain't gonna say everything now. Emotional is a little bit too.
Yeah.
Some men are emotional, but some men are just, I ain't gonna go there.
You can provide some type of comfort for your woman.
Right.
And so that way you could provide her with trust. She needs to know that she can trust your decisions. And that's earned.
But most women, they go off of their previous experiences in relationships.
Men do too.
No, men don't.
Really?
No.
Really?
That's what women think because they think they know. But when you tell them that what they're thinking is wrong, they get upset with you and start telling you that you and your emotions. Like I'm telling you now,
right.
No, men don't do that. But you're going to tell me and you're going to believe no matter what I say, you're just going to believe what you're going to believe.
Well, that's because, I have some other guy friends who tell me different. So, and none of these comments, we can't just brush it with a general brush.
Saying, right.
We understand that each person is individual and we have different approaches to relationships and whatnot. So what I found, maybe some of the guys that they don't compare the women that they dated before to other women, but some of the guy friends that I do know, they carry that, especially as they get older and they're looking for the woman that they want to decide to spend the rest of their lives with. And same thing with women. We're trying to piece together who we want to decide to make that commitment to. And I do believe men do commit.
I'm gonna tell you it is. Most of those guys that that was their first love.
There you go.
And that's exactly, and they still stuck in that first love stage
In middle
and have
school.
yet to get over.
In
and
middle
that's
school.
why they.
Middle school.
That's what it happens.
Right, right.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
when y'all get
Just like-
ruined.
that's
Right.
What that's
Little
what,
girl
we
and-
was talking about that last week. It happens in middle school when the guy, he likes a girl, and the girls don't really be serious in middle school.
Not at all.
And the guy, he kind of like, I like her. He's serious. She breaks his heart, and from 7th grade on
my
to
God.
college,
I
he is a
done bought her
dog.
Lemon heads.
I'm telling you,
Cupcakes.
Candy Grams,
You know what I'm saying? We shared the same milk and the same
walked me
chocolate
to my
milk.
the
locker.
same locker and everything.
I carried your books to the next class.
And
we
next
was in
thing you
different
know,
class.
and you know what happens?
You broke my heart, huh?
You know what happens? She meets an older dude, and then he takes her from her dude. Now the dude that she was talking to is heartbroken. She talking to some older man who gonna break her heart, and then the cycle continues. That's how the cycle starts.
Preach, my
because
brother.
women start talking to older men, and the older men just like, I just want to play with you. But the girls start taking him serious. Now her heart is broken, and she left the other dude who was good for her, broke his heart, and now later on in life she wondering why he's a dog.
And then we get to the cycle where we say women always say I can't find a good man, but when they get a good man, they don't know how to treat a good man because they still stuck off what happened in the past.
When they see the good man,
I'm gonna behave. I'm done.
When they see the good man, they try to make the good man run through hoops like he's a poodle.
Come on,
Wow.
come on.
They want him to.
Come
well,
on.
you a good man, but you got to do this, and you got to do this, because I'm a good woman, but I ain't finna do none of that for you, because you a man, and I don't know you like that. You got to get to know me first before I do anything, but you got to do everything for me.
Wow.
Checkmate. Checkmate.
407-894-1680 is the number.
I'ma let Mr. King have his
407-894.
shine.
Somebody needs to call in and
1680
help
is
this
the
sister
number.
out.
I'm just letting y'all
Come and help her
talk.
out. Please help her out.
I'm just letting y'all talk. Mr. King think he got it all planned out
Oh, Mr. Craig.
to the T.
Mr. Craig, you going to let him ride like that, Mr. Craig?
It's not a plan.
It's not no change
it's-
in his mind.
It's not a changing of my mind.
This
It's
is-
facts that people just don't like. As we all know, the human race does not like to hear the truth. That's with any. If your breath stink, you don't want nobody to come up to you telling you that your breath stink. That is just the
I want
truth.
somebody
I
to
want
tell
somebody to
me.
tell me if my breath.
That's what I'm
Now,
saying.
wait a minute.
I want you
I
to
did
take
eat
me
some
to the
onions.
side and say, hey,
Be kind. Let me
You
know.
can tell me in front of everybody. I don't mind.
If I slide you a Tic
You
Tac or some
mind
Skittles,
as well?
Chris, you look musty under your arm,
She
bro.
wants some
No
gum.
problem. I got you.
that's the embarrassing one right there.
I take the. There's nothing that embarrassing. After my mom beat me in front of the class when I was a jitterbug,
Oh, wow.
embarrassment is no longer in my vocabulary, so I'm used to it.
Whipped you right into shape though.
Your mama didn't have to come back to school, did she?
And she
Man,
came
of a
back
time.
a couple of more times, but
See, you didn't learn your lesson.
I was a boy. I'm a boy. Boys are a little bit different than ladies.
You had to
Yeah,
do it
they
a
need
few
to
we had to
come
learn.
with
We had to learn a little extra harder than most women.
Okay.
The first time around, the lady will learn something and she'll be done with. But guys will get it, get embarrassed. All right, no problem. A couple of days later, you can take another embarrassment. There you go.
There you go.
Well, his theory of being heartbroken in middle school, and that's what lasts for you guys and ruins you in a sense, goes to show that men are very
Emotional.
sensitive. You guys are more sensitive than women think, and sometimes
And
more
I
sensitive
agree.
than the woman.
I agree wholeheartedly. We are a little more sensitive than some women, but we're not that sensitive because
No.
some guys just let it go and keep moving.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm sensitive when it comes to several things.
Yeah.
One, the Lord.
Okay.
Second, football.
All right.
When you talk about me and football, it's a problem. I'm real emotional and I get real sensitive. And then my dog. And I'm done.
All right.
Love y'all. I gotta go.
I see we got a caller here tonight. George, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
What's your comment tonight, sir?
But men don't commit because they're not taught how to commit. Women are taught how to commit. But a man, they think a woman's place is just two places and that's it. But the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And if he don't treat that good thing right, he's liable to lose her. So men need to be taught how to commit.
You know,
That's my comment.
I completely agree with you, Brother George, because they take the black male out of the home and into jail, and that kind of doesn't give them the right example of how to treat a woman. Then when you got the music talking to women and you know, showing so much disrespect to women, the younger generation, I completely agree. They do not grow up seeing how to treat a queen and a princess as a king, you know?
That's true. Most of the other races, they know how to treat and only believe in having one at a time and not multiple, okay? Whereas the black race like to have multiple, like, you know, they are king and got to have all these, you know, women up under them, but that's not so. When you learn how to please one woman, you have to first please one woman, not multiples. That's my comment. As long as you can please one woman, you good. And every man cannot be a father, and every man cannot be a daddy.
All right. We thank you for your comment, George. I appreciate you listening to the show.
Okay.
So, So George says they have to be taught how to do that. You know, I think that a lot of that, too, comes from, you know, he talked specifically about the black community. Unfortunately, in the black community, the family is seeming to be on the decline in the black community, and so perhaps some of that where that comes from, because you're not seeing a successful relationship at home. Maybe that translates to not really knowing how to create and commit to a successful relationship, because you don't have that example to be able to piggyback on and mirror, which a lot of other cultures tend to do come from the two-parent household, and so perhaps that's where they kind of get their understanding of what it is to commit and to be in a relationship. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. You got any comments on what George had to say, Ms. McCray?
Sorry. He made some good points.
She's eating.
Anyway, yeah, it's taught, and then it's a choice. Like, once you get to a certain point, you only have so many times that you can make a mistake with a certain person. At the end of the day, I think it's personal responsibility, and you choose to commit to this person or you choose to cheat. And if you decide to cheat, then you're being selfish, you're being inconsiderate of the other person's feelings, and you just want your cake and eat it too. If that person is making you unhappy, that you feel like you need to get something from outside of whatever your situation is, why are you still with that person? Is it some, what are you doing? And you can't say, oh, because that person isn't giving me what they need, but this person is, because you're not getting all of that other person in that other situation as well. What in your mind, what are you choosing to do? What are you choosing to overlook in your current relationship? And what are you choosing?
Go ahead, Mr. Gray.
To, lost my train of thought, messing with Mr. King. It's personal responsibility. We have another caller.
I see we got another caller. How you doing tonight, Mark?
So far, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. What's your comment tonight?
Yeah. My comment is, when two people get married, we got to think as family, not as competitors. I cannot be in the same house there with my wife, and then we are competing against each other. We are not two parties. We are one. That's my comment.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in, Mark. Yeah, so I agree with Mark. You definitely, certainly once you're in that relationship and certainly married, you do have to commit to that idea that you are one. And so the things that you do have to be shared. They have to be shared goals, shared desires, shared whatever it is. You need to, communication is key. Communicate.
But like Mark was saying, I think the point that Mark was saying is that I don't want to battle with you. We're supposed to be one. If you have my back and I'll have your back. But from my experiences and from a lot of guys' experiences that I've spoke to, majority of women are the ones that want to have their cake and eat it too. I don't see it having anything to do with cheating or anything, but a lot of times, men don't want to put up with a lot. And we have to prepare ourselves to go home just to put up with what we know we finna walk into that door and put up with. So I feel that I don't think cheating is what we do, but a lot of guys that I know of, not me, but a lot of them, they flirt a little bit, or they'll go to work and they'll have that special friend that they know they can talk to just to take their mind off of what's going on at home. Now, is that cheating in my opinion? I don't know. Is that cheating if you're flirting with somebody at your job knowing that you're married?
Here's the question to that. If you're married and your wife or your partner is doing those same things, would you like them to be doing what you're doing?
Personally?
That's always the check point.
Oh, okay, because no, I don't care.
Oh, okay. So your girl, your wife, she might have a husband, a work husband, somebody, people use that term, work husband.
Right.
Who they confide in, who they talk to, who they might flirt with. Mm-hmm. You'd be okay with that?
It happens, and that's a part of life because I can't worry about that. That is not what I have to worry about in our relationship. To keep our relationship strong, I can't worry about what you're doing at work. I got to worry about what I'm doing at work and worry about the money that I'm bringing in and worry about the situations that I have to handle to keep our relationship afloat. I can't worry about, she might be at work flirting with Tom again after I told her not to. That does nothing but cause negativity in your relationship. Now, if she's doing that, as long as it ain't no touchy-feely, we good. Long as it's nothing where they touching each other. But if they just flirting because, that's just how she was, I guess, letting go of stress. I don't know.
Well, I would say this. It all goes back to there's a fine line in that. And so you have to watch where that line is and be careful with the line because it can cross over the line and it can be something that could be wrong about it, but I think you have to judge for yourself. What Ms. McCrae said is always a good checkpoint. If your spouse was doing what you were doing, would you have a problem with it? And if you did, then you should stop. And that's a good checkpoint. But also, you have to, it's a fine line. The best way to go is to just not go there because you never know when you start playing with fire. Sometimes you get burnt, as they say. So you have to be real careful, definitely, in any type of situation like that. The work husband, the work wife, whatever it is, that's all good. But when it crosses a certain line, you have to certainly be careful of that because it can a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Easily. In a way that you don't intend it to. It's just you get comfortable. You're at work more. Sometimes during the week you see your coworkers more than you see your families, and you're there and you guys are talking and that's a comfort zone and you just got to watch that workplace interaction.
Definitely have to watch that because it will get you into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to keep staying on topic here. So one of the things, like I said, I wanted to talk about tonight is we talked about men not committing. Women also don't commit as well. So what are some of those reasons why women don't commit? I see I was reading some things, and certainly at the top of the list is past. So things that have happened in your past relationships and a woman's past relationships prevent her from now committing to the new guy or the new guy wannabe or whatever the case may be. That seems to certainly be a big one. Miss McCrae is the only female in the building tonight. I'm sure you have something to say on that.
Holding it down for the ladies. Yes. Yeah. But I mean, it's the same thing and it was funny how Mr. King mentioned, he said, okay, the 7th grade, the boy gets his heart broken. The girls, we're dating older guys and we get our hearts broken. So it's this cycle. So that broken-hearted people are walking all around us. Everybody has some type of issue and some type of wall and barrier that we're dealing with. And absolutely, we don't, I know, I'll speak for myself. I am not one that falls quickly. I know some girls, some of my friends, they can keep a relationship. I mean, they just jump from one relationship. Do you really like this person? Are you just saying you with this person just to say that you got a boyfriend? Like, really? I don't understand it. But me personally, I just don't. It takes me a minute to really be like, okay, I'm going to open up to this person in a way that we can make this go a little bit further. I'm friendly to everybody. We'll go out, we'll talk, but there's definitely walls there for me that you have to navigate through. And I'm sure guys have that as well. So when you talk about commitment, once I'm into you, though, like I'm there, I'm ride or die. It just might take me a minute to get there.
So the past, and would you say your past has influenced you to be that way?
Yes. Absolutely.
Good, bad?
Both. And as I've grown older, I've learned that, and he mentioned something earlier too, we can't, although most times we do, it's hard not to. I certainly try to take the person I'm currently dating as who they are. Leave whoever was before them or who I want them to be. I really try to evaluate who they are right in front of me. Of course, when we first started dating, everybody's dating the representative, okay? The best. And then as time goes on, the layers are peeled back, and then you start to see people for who they are. Sometimes those flags are seen immediately, and we tend to ignore them, ladies. Am I correct? We see them right away.
407-894-1680. 407-894-1680.
We know. We see it. But we're like, oh, no. Oh, he's nice. That was just one time that he acted a little crazy in public. He just had a long day. He's not abusive. No. Not towards me. Maybe to the waitress. Signs.
Well, see,
signs.
I think men have to look for those signs in women also.
Absolutely.
Because you have some that's like, well, she cute, so I guess we just don't have to go in public because that's when she like to get loud and act ratchet.
Right.
But those are signs, though. But then, when I was talking about this yesterday to a homeboy, when you're a man that has standards and you know what you want, you crazy for not talking to certain people. People will look at you like, well, why don't you want to talk to them? And it's kind of like, something is wrong with you because you don't want to talk to a certain female. And it's just different standards for men. It's not like women. If you have a standard as a man, like, I like this, I like short women that's dark-skinned. You bad because you don't like light-skinned women. And it's kind of like, what? It's not really like that, but that's just the standard that I have. But if you're a woman and if you like tall men, it's nothing wrong with that. You just short men just out of gas. It's just different. So you have to look at things different. Everything isn't the same, Just because certain women look at it like that doesn't mean, well, I'm sure guys do too. No, not all the time.
I mean, it's preference. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. Where it becomes a problem if there's like a negative connotation attached to it. So if you say, oh, I prefer a brown girl, or I'm more I tend to be more attracted to girls who are light skinned or brown. Is this them black girls ugly, or always something negative behind your reasoning for not going in another direction? So preference isn't a problem. I like tall men. I prefer them. I need them because I'm like 5'9". So.
See, but somebody like 5'4", light skinned with locks.
Okay, we have a caller.
Wait a minute, really? Somebody that's 5'4" with light?
We have a caller. Hi,
Chris.
I told y'all gonna make me call back. This is the thing here. We as people, we don't date. First off, we see somebody we like, we automatically jump into a relationship. And then the minute those signs start coming, you ignoring those signs because you're not really dating. You just automatically fell in love or fell into this relationship with them. My thing is, and this is my standard, I always wanted to date a female first from anywhere from 6 months to a year. Granted, you'll never know anybody who you with. You'll never know them. But if you date somebody, you get to see who they are, hang out with them, get them in different situations, see how they react with different circumstances, certain things that go on, and see how they act towards their family. Me, I'm a family man. I love family. And if you, as a female, you just, I don't do my daddy. Oh, hold on, what's the problem? Why you and your daddy don't talk? Your dad's still alive. I'm going to ask that. Well, my dad was never around because my mama said, now we got a problem. Because she going off what your mom said and you never got a chance to know who your dad was for yourself. You never tried to reach out to your father.
But see, Brother Chris, you are the bad man in society's eyes because you're supposed to still love her for her. You can't do that because even though that's a sign that, she may have some issues mentally, society will look at you like you're a bad man because you're still supposed to accept her for her.
And I can still accept her for her. I can accept her for who she is. I just can't be with her.
That's real.
I can still accept you. Hey, we cool. We buddies or whatever, but you're not my lady. I still accept you because I'm not going to disown you for who you are because that's who you are. We can't change anybody, but it's just not my standards and why I want to be with somebody.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
No
that
problem.
comment.
And that's real. I mean, you can meet somebody nice, and you guys have some things in common, but it's just it doesn't feel right. There's no chemistry. There's nothing there that really will hold you to or make you grow, and that's okay. You're not saying that person is a bad person. You two just don't match.
Well, it's all about compatibility.
Absolutely.
So if you find that person is compatible for you, life is too short.
Oh, what? Say that again.
Life is too short. You certainly gotta move on if that's what it takes. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Give us a call. Again, we are talking about men and women and why they don't commit in relationships. That's what we're talking about. We got Fred on the phone. How you doing, Fred?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing all right. What's your comment tonight, Fred?
I appreciate y'all taking my call. I wanted to make a comment. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and I can say in my long dating history, I have had very few women. And when I say women, I mean black women because that's really all I date is black women. I've had very few women that have actually tried to get to know me. At the end of the day, I can name numerous women that I've been in relationships or been dating that barely knew me, but I guarantee if I had popped that question, they probably would have said yes. And I feel like that's one of the problems with our relationships is that we really don't take time to ask those important questions, to get all our issues out on the table and really open up. Let all those past issues out. What has got me hung up? What has me so hard-hearted? And I think that's what's tripping a lot of us up is just not wanting to be open because we have all these walls up.
That's real.
I completely agree with you, Brother Fred, because, I feel that most women like a mysterious man, and so that's why they don't ask those questions. Some other women, they feel like, well, I don't know what to ask and I don't know what to say. You're supposed to just tell me. But I completely agree that majority of women do not get to know the man. They just want to talk, and they want the man to get to know them. They want the man to understand them and get to know who they are. They completely forget to get to know who this fool is,
Okay. And from my experiences, a lot of them really just want to be entertained. If a guy takes them out to a comedy show and gets a couple of drinks, like they had a great time, but you don't know who in the world you've been out with.
You better preach, Brother Fred. You better preach.
And I think at the end of the day, we look at other races. I know all the time when folks say I'm gonna go party with some Caucasian folks, and they're just so crazy, and they just tell you all their business and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that is something that maybe we should look at and say, why can't we do that? Why can't we be open? Why can't we talk to people about what's going on in our lives? Why can't we have the judgment to say, well, maybe this person isn't somebody I need to be able to tell all that kind of stuff to? I think we need to make better choices and better judgment about who we talk to versus just being, having walls up and being guarded against everybody.
That's true.
That's true.
He said a mouthful, and I had some things to say. It really starts with in society, and what I found when he mentioned that these women, he could have popped the question, and these women would have been with him. The thing is, in this society, if you're single after a certain point, at a certain age, that's when people start to give you the eye. So then as a woman, here we are, we have all these clocks against us. Not only do we have age. We're like, oh, if you're up in your late 30s, you're talking about the clock of your biological clock is ticking. So women feel this pressure, this need to be like, and then we've been taught that our dreams and everything will be perfect if we just get married and have kids and make this life, and that's the American dream, when at the end of the day, you do need to know who you're marrying, not just to say, oh, I'm about to be married, or I have a husband who you can't stand, but you walking around, oh, yeah, I'm married, though. I'm married. I have this ring. He put a ring on all the single ladies, but you're not happy.
Because you don't know who he is.
Because you don't know. And wait, get this, Fred. They don't know themselves. Men and women don't know themselves. So how are you going to go and learn about somebody else when you're not even asking yourself the questions that you need to ask?
And I guess I can piggyback off what you're saying. We were just talking in Bible study tonight about the fact how in today's world it's almost like the Bible and the church and your relationship with God is something that's secondary, and the world has gotten people to think that what's going on out there in the world is what's really important. And at the end of the day, I think that we as Christians are fighting an uphill battle with trying to recondition ourselves with having a strong foundation in what really matters and what's really important, because even us as Christians at some point in time have probably become tainted and thought that what's going on out there in the world is what the foundation should be. And I think that seeps into relationships, I think, as well, because that's why I think that people don't know themselves, and that's why I think people don't look to ask those questions, is because they haven't really developed the foundation to know how to do it.
All right. I thank you for calling tonight, Fred. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your call.
Yes. So, I definitely have to agree with what Fred was saying, what Miss McCrae was saying. You guys were definitely hitting it on the nail tonight with some comments for sure.
Mr. King was saying.
He never agrees with me. I'm good.
Mr. King, you said some good things tonight too. So.
No, I didn't. Obviously not. I thank Fred for calling in and saying everything that I wanted to say. I'm limited to what I can say.
Oh,
thank you, Fred.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. But I think what he said is true. I think a lot of times. A lot of people get what they want in a relationship, especially these days, from what we see on TV. Mm-hmm. And TV is building what potentially what a relationship should be, or what the man that you want looks like or acts like, or the female you want looks like, acts like. And so when you go in life, and when you don't see these characters, because that's really what they are on TV, they're characters. Yeah.
Made up.
They're playing a character, and especially when you think about most reality TV is scripted anyway, and so they're really actors, bad ones, but actors nonetheless. And so you create this mythical presentation of what it should be, and then when you get in life, and it doesn't appear to be what you think it is, then it's a problem. And so you sort of stay to yourself, or you don't find that next person. So you have that issue, and then I think the other issue of why people don't share is because people are afraid what you're going to think of their past. So they're scared, man, if I tell him that, I had this happen and this happened and this happened, man, he's going to run away. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to want to stay and be with me, or if vice versa. Same thing for the man. If I tell her, I had this happen in my life and this happened in my life and same thing. They're afraid that you're going to run away from them because they aren't the perfect person, because they've had issues, because they've gotten over things, because their family life wasn't great, that you're going to run away from them. And so people are afraid to be real, if you will, and they just keep the representative in front, as opposed to the real person, because a lot of times we are judgmental. We say that all the time, especially a lot of Christians are judgmental about people, judgmental about what they wear to church, just judgmental in general. And so I think that's something that we individually have to work on and make sure that we can be open, because everybody has a past, and whatever, some person's past may be a lot more sinister, quote unquote, than yours, but everybody has a past. But it's not about where you've been, it's about where you are today, and that's what you have to evaluate people on, because at the end of the day, I live by a rule that always tells me, you can learn something from anybody. There's things to learn from the wino on the street, just like there's things to learn from the president of the country. They all have something that they can add to your life. So you gotta definitely be careful of that. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. You're looking at me sideways, Mr. King.
Yeah, because I judge people off of their past. Your past reflects your decision making, in my opinion. I am a sapiosexual. So I'm attracted to intelligence. So if you're telling me certain things, and it's kind of like, Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that one up, bro.
Google it. It's SAP. Anyway, yeah. If you're telling me things in your past and it's kind of like, why did you do that? Or why did you make that decision? Or how did you even fathom to do that or come up with that? That's a turnoff to me. I'm not going to say I judge you off of your past if you did something that was bad. But if your decision making wasn't on a certain up to par level, then I cannot deal with you. I don't care how pretty you are, how much money you got. If your decision making isn't on an intellectual level, then I just can't do it. I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying, you don't make smart decisions, so I couldn't be in a relationship with you. We can be friends and hang out, but as far as a relationship, nah, I have to judge you off of your decision-making of the past. And the reason that comes up is because that wino that you were saying that you can learn something from, you can learn something from him, but again, in his past, bad decisions got him where he is today. So it's not like I'm judging him from today, but I am judging his bad decisions of the past that got him where he is today.
There's something to say about that. And again, I will I'll be a little transparent with that. When I'm dating someone and I'm looking at, like you said, the decisions that they make, particularly a nice guy I was dating before, his car broke down, and that was his only way to get to work, to take care of his business, to do whatever he needed to do. Instead of saving money to go get that car fixed, he went and bought a pair of Jordans. He bought the newest video game that came out. He was out kicking it at the club while he's riding the bus or trying to get rides or missing work because he couldn't get a ride. So all that money, to me, as a man and as a woman, as a responsible individual, you know that this mode of transportation is how you get to your job. The job is what you do to be able to make your money, to be able to live your life and take care of the things that you need. If you're spending the money that can fix the car, the transportation that you need to help you to continue your life, and you go and buy Jordans in a video game system with like 5 video games.
Excuse me.
I have to walk away from you because of those decisions.
Let me justify this.
How do you justify that?
I'm about to, because you don't see it from a man's point of view. Now, first of all, the car broke down, correct?
Yeah.
So I need Jordans to walk. Second of all,
you know what? Just stop talking right now.
That man needs Jordans to walk.
No.
He has no car.
No.
So he just at the house bored. I need a PlayStation 4, okay, with some video games.
Right. So if the car, to get your car fixed, let's say it's $500 to get your car fixed. Jordans are what, $250? A video game system is another $250. You bought 3 games at what, $55 a piece? You spent way more of the money that you could have gone ahead and had your car fixed long time ago.
Well, I won't justify his decisions, but here's what I will say. But obviously you're right. That's probably somebody you don't want to date. But seeing him make those decisions help you figure out that that's not someone you want to date.
Yeah.
But take that same guy 5 years later. Those were his actions, and now he's learned from those actions, and he's discussed with you some of the bad moves that he's made in getting to where he was today. And perhaps he's learned from that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that if a person's making bad decisions today, then you should forgive their bad decisions today and continue a relationship. I'm just saying that, maybe that was his past 5 years from now. Today he's still not making, today he's not making that mistake.
This was like last year.
I
this
disagree.
man was 38 years old.
I disagree, exactly.
I happened to check in on him. He's in the same position.
He got some new Jordans.
But then he's clearly not.
he got the brand new
He's clearly
retro.
not the guy that you want to date.
That's all I'm saying. So I had to bow out.
And with her point,
gracefully.
People don't change too far.
No,
like they say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So that's why I have to judge you off of your previous decisions. If you was doing that when you was 20, it depends on what age you was doing it at. If you was doing that over 25, nah, you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. Now, if you was doing that as a teenager, that's a different thing. That's a different story. As the brother Chris would say, the Bible said, when I was a man, I did manly things, and when I became a child, I put something like that. It says something like that. Okay.
Don't quote the Bible.
Brother Chris is not here to say it.
I'm gonna need you not to quote the Bible.
I got the Bible right here in front of me. Okay? I can quote it.
But and also with that, as a woman, so the man that I will accept in my life that I want to marry one day, and we've made this arrangement that we're going to do this, he needs to make those decisions that I can trust his decision making. Not to say he's going to be perfect, because we're going where he lacks, I hope to be able to fall into place, and vice versa. So as a team, we can make this work.
Right.
But if I'm dating you and I see that you can't handle money properly, I see that throughout the course of our dating, you haven't progressed from where we were before in any kind of way. Like if you still buying Jordans and not taking care of your car, or your lights off, but you got the newest Jordans, like I can't put my trust in you as a man. I can't.
I understand that. My new stepfather taught me that you have to earn a woman's trust.
Saying.
I have a mother that's very strong-willed. She's been single for some years, so she actually had to become the man in society. So, when she meets another strong man, and now that them two are married, I look at him like, how do you do it? And, he had to teach me that you have to earn her trust. Once she sees, she'll and then once she see that you made a good decision, it's like, oh, okay, he made one. Now he's made 5. Now he's made 10. Maybe I can trust his decision making. It doesn't happen overnight. As he says, as we all know, trust is earned. And I'm guessing, because I haven't been in that situation yet, but learning from him and watching him, I see how he maneuvers.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't have a dad around like that. So now that I'm older, I can see how he maneuvers as an evangelist and as an apostle. I'm sorry. And it's just a new way to learn, because like we were saying earlier, a lot of males don't have a male figure to watch and learn how to be a man, how to treat your woman, how to pop up and bring lunch, things to that nature. We see it on TV, but men don't really go off of what they see on TV. They go off of what they hear on music, but they don't really go off of what they see on TV. But you have to learn to earn that respect of a woman as a man. And a lot of men, they just feel like, just like some women feel like, well, I'm just a woman. You're just supposed to do that. A lot of men feel I'm a man. You just supposed to know already.
Yeah, and it's the consistency. And trust me, man, we don't want to lead. We don't want to. If you meeting a woman and she's a bad chick or a boss lady and she has to handle everything at the job, when she comes home, she don't want to have to handle her house. She wants to be submissive to you so that you can lead, but she has to trust that. She has to trust it. And that it's a building process, and that's in the dating. That's all in what our caller said, getting to know each other before you jump to say I do.
But I think these days it's so hard to trust anybody because everybody talking to everybody. It's not like me, while we're dating and talking and you're getting to know me, in my mind, how many other people are you dating and talking and getting to know? Because we're not exclusive. Now, since we're not exclusive, I really don't have a say-so about that. I really can't say anything. But as a man, in the back of my mind, and definitely as a woman, in the back of her mind, she's thinking the same exact thing.
Well,
yeah.
But I think, though, too, a lot of that comes from communication.
Yeah.
Where are we at? What is it that we're doing? If we're dating, then, have that conversation and everybody's on board. This is just some dates, and you're not the only person I date. Conversation, communication, between those two individuals. And as long as you're communicating, quite honestly, I really don't see anything wrong with single people dating multiple people, and because dating in and of itself is okay. It's just, a lot of conversations, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully.
There's a difference between a date and dating.
Thank you. Dating and you paying for yourself, or dating and I'm paying, but you still talking to other people and dating not them too. See, communication can be brought about, but from my experiences, women catch feelings, and they don't communicate when they catch these feelings. And so that's when miscommunication, I guess, comes about. But if you're dating multiple people and I'm paying every time we go on a date, there's a problem. That's a problem that we need to communicate about that one.
Some people may say that's just old school.
I'm just
Real old. Because we're in 2014.
Listen,
About to be
until
2015.
we have that conversation where you say you want me to be your woman, then I'm going to date whomever I choose. And
Oh, wow.
And she expects everybody to pay.
I mean, but you know what? Not while the first date, okay. But if we continue to date, I will think of what we're going to do. I'll make it fun, but absolutely. If you're asking me out, and we've had this discussion on this show before, if you ask me out, your intent is to take me out. So my expectation is that you're going to take care of everything.
So if I ask to take you out, but you still pay for yourself, is that okay too?
If we're just going to kick it, sure, I'll take care of myself.
Because I don't
but
believe.
if it's a date, if you're asking
We
me
have to
out,
kick it first before I know if we can date.
No.
See, and that's the thing. How do I know that you're somebody that I would want to date if
Then
we've never kicked
that
it?
needs to be explained. Communication.
We need to
That
kick
needs
it,
to be explained.
and then if we can kick it and not kick each other, then we can date.
You need to put that on a t-shirt.
I have a comment, but I'm going to leave it to myself.
Put that on
right
a t-shirt.
It's already copyrighted.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. Just to kind of wrap up here, we only got about 4 to 5 minutes left in the show. So definitely the past, people's past, and I think that goes for men and women, certainly bad experiences when it comes to previous relationships always put some kind of hindrance on the next relationship. I was reading some comments about, again, talking about women here. Going too fast was another thing that was kind of brought up. And what they meant is where the two people not necessarily being on the same page as to how quickly the relationship or the dating is progressing. And so that being something that will prevent that commitment from happening because, let's say you're, like Miss McCrae says, she's dating multiple people because you haven't asked her to be exclusive.
I'm just saying.
So if you're trying to move too fast, there'd be a problem.
I'm just saying.
Is that not having your cake and eating it too?
There is a getting to know you phase.
Mm-hmm.
There's dating, and then you're together.
Oh. So if I'm dating multiple people at the same time,
I can't expect you not to date.
and we pop up and see each other,
Then, hey, if we haven't discussed it, you can't get mad at me. I can't get mad at you.
and I act like I don't know you.
Well, then don't call me.
So if I'm out on my date because we haven't discussed that, and I see you, and I be like, oh, and I just turn like I don't know you.
Yeah.
Just don't call you no
Just
more.
don't
huh?
call me no more.
Wow.
Because odds are I've seen you too.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay. Okay, brother.
See, at least we communicated that.
I'm just saying.
At least we just communicated that.
Now you know, Mr. King.
Just keep it real. Because folks going to find out. That's the thing. They're gonna find out. This world is too small. You're going to find out. That's all I'm saying.
He's taking notes.
Okay. You know what? It's been a great episode tonight.
I'm about to say, I'm not single.
Orlando's gospel music channel, Gospel 1680 WOKB.
Why would I
your
have to take
urban
notes?
empowerment
She's
and
moving
inspiration
on.
I don't
station.
have. I'm not single.
Check us out.
She is.
Real Family Talk. Wednesdays,
I have a book in Barnes and Noble.
9 to
Oh,
10.
gosh. A couple
Single,
more
ready to
comments
mingle.
here.
Anyway, Miss McCrae, what I wanted to ask you because you weren't here.
I don't think we had time.
We do. We have 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Do you cook?
I do cook.
Oh, okay.
My mama taught me.
Oh.
She said, and I would hate when she said that,
Wait, we ain't
you
got no
need
time.
to
We ain't got no
know
time.
how to take care of yourself just in case I'm not here no more.
Oh.
I would hate when she said that, but it makes sense because she made me be
Okay.
the woman that I am today. So, yes, I can cook.
So it's your mama I have to thank for that.
You do.
Okay.
Rita Gale.
I'm going to hug you and make her feel it.
Yeah. Thank my mama and my daddy.
She can cook. And she's a Delta.
And
Hey,
she's
now.
a Delta.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to the new Deltas that just crossed.
Is that the song?
No,
Oh,
sir.
my bad.
You just okay.
That's
We're
the wrong
done.
sorority,
We're
bro.
done. We're done. Good night, folks.
You're gonna have to learn your sororities.
I mean,
Oh, my mama a Delta too.
thank
My
you.
bad.
Get it together.
My bad.
I'm gonna call. I'm gonna tell her.
No. See how you try to throw me under
I'm
the
gonna
bus?
tell her what you did.
He is gonna. He's a little off. He's working on it though. He's working on it. We're gonna wind it down here. We want to thank y'all for listening to Real Family Talk. Remember, we're here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on WOKB 1680 AM. You can check out like us on Facebook, if you will. We're on Facebook, Real Family Talk. We're on Twitter, Real Family Talk. We also have the website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com. Check us out on social media everywhere. Give us a like I said, on Facebook. We appreciate that. We are winding down. Any final comments here from you guys?
God is good.
God is very good.
God is good. There it is. Remember, this is WOKV 1680 AM, your urban empowerment and inspiration station. You can follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.